Okay, John, so if we just go back to last weekend, was that a case of being seconds away from a perfect away performance or not?
Yeah, seconds, literally, wasn't it? I think it was just a kick-off, wasn't it? Yeah, it was seconds. I think, if I'm being honest, I think if I looked at the whole game, the result was probably about right, if I'm being honest. But when you're 1-0 up with no time to go, it's always disappointing to concede. On the other hand, you score last seconds, you're delighted to get something. So yeah, it was disappointing, but then I think that, you know, I would think most people that were involved in that game have had that before, for them or against them. I think we got a late equaliser here against Havant. Yeah, so I think that's all part and parcel. But at the time, it's a bit of a kick up the backside.
What did you make of the performance?
I don't think that we played great in terms of fluency. I don't think either team did. I didn't say anything at the time, but if I'm being honest, I thought the pitch was appalling. I think there was one evidence, a great big chunk of it come up. I think grass was ever so long, it was so hard to move the ball for both teams. So I don't think, probably as a spectacle, it was a particularly great game. But I just think that when you're away from home, I think that any result you get, favourable, draw and thing, you look at that and go, as long as we're doing okay, we're happy with that. That being a league game, we can't judge that this week in terms of league because it's the cup. But I think that, you know, away from home, yeah, I thought we were solid. I thought Chrissy had one save to make in the first half, which was a great save because it took a deflection, by the way. And other than them hitting the post in the second half, I didn't really feel like we was under the cosh. But then again, I don't think they was under the cosh. I think it was a fair result, and I think it was an all-right performance for an away game.
Young Ross Marshall made his debut. How do you feel he got on?
I thought he done okay. He's come in. Hack had him at Braintree, but left before I think he saw him play. I saw him play on loan for Lowestoft quite a while ago. I didn't really have an opinion. I can remember him because I know it was his debut. And they said he got someone on loan from Ipswich here, so I thought I'd have a look. But I couldn't really judge on what I saw there. But he's come in and trained, and he's trained well. And I thought he was solid. He can play there or centre half, and I thought he was solid. So I thought he done okay.
Is he someone who you look at as just filling the gap, or is he someone who you can see really working with as a player?
No, I think that it was evident when he came in that he had a little bit about him. He can play, as I said, there or centre half. Probably has a better understanding of the game as a centre half. But I thought he picked it up really well, and I had no complaints. I don't think any of us had any complaints about positional. Maybe decision making in certain areas where if you play a bit deeper you might do something a bit quicker, but no, I thought we'd done okay, so I thought everyone was pleased with his contribution.
So last week we had the news with the transfer listed players. How do you feel the response has been from those 5 since that come about?
They've all trained really, really well, you know, and we said to them at the time, it's you know what, it's unless like people have taken liberties and let you down and things like, none of these have done that. They've all been good trainers, all competed well, and we just pointed out that, you know, we actually asked them the question, and the question was, how do you think you've done? And I think to a man they've all said not as well as, you know, we would like to have done. And we said, well, we're in that position that we're speaking to 5 people that are all telling us they haven't done that well. So what do we do? There can be various reasons that people haven't done well. They're not always football related neither. Some can be outside problems, so have a talk with them, find out the situation. But we, you know, Hack, myself really, and Ryan discussed it, and, you know, after the discussion, you know, it was decided that we should make them available for two reasons. Do they need a little kick and a little bit of help along the way? They may do. Is their situation something that they're not entirely happy with, and maybe think that, you know, maybe they should, this hasn't quite worked for them, so it gives it that. And with a little spin on it as well, what we felt was that sometimes, believe it or not, players don't know if they're not playing as well as they think they can. They all come out and said they weren't, but sometimes people turn around and go, well, I think I've been good. Or I think. So that's another thing you've got to try and overcome, have people's perception of how they've done. But they've all trained hard, all trained well, and we said, look, we're not excluding people, but, you know, we are making people aware that you are available. We've had some interest in a couple of players, and there may be a bit of movement over the next sort of day or two on a couple of that. But what we're saying to people, I mean, of people that have been available, I think Iffy started on Saturday, Nana come on, John came on. So come on, you know, show it can happen. People can lose a bit of form for a variety of reasons. Just show us. But at the moment, they remain on the list, and we'll see how we go.
So I think we're coming towards the end of Ibi, Olutade and Danny Devine's 1 month loans. Is that a case? Will they just be extended?
They have been extended, yeah, they have. We'd like Ibi to have got a couple more games in. He had one called off, I think it was at Margate, yeah, I think it was at Margate. And the first one he went there, which I understand, I think they put him on the bench and come on. So at this moment, I think that we decided that the required amount of fitness, we felt he was a bit behind in training. Required amount of fitness, the game should keep that topped up, and we can review it again at the end of the month. And a little bit with Danny, because Danny needed games. Hoyt's done ever so well, and that's not easy for him. So I think the games will do him good. So we'll keep that going for another month as well.
Got to be encouraging with Ibi that I think he's scored every time he started, hasn't he, at Leverett?
He has, and you know, we know he's a goal scorer. With the greatest respect, we've seen that his career, wherever he's been, may not be at, you know, these levels, but goal scorers are goal scorers, and we had high hopes of him when he came. But as I said, he was so far behind in training. He found the everyday training not easy. But hopefully, as I said, this will give him a kick, and when he does come back, he can produce the goal scoring for us.
So looking ahead to Saturday, another Step 3 team, do you think it'll be another sort of similar game to the previous two we've had?
I think that, you know, the cups, you never know. I think both rounds have found, you know, one or two shocks, if you like. I don't think the shocks are as big a shocks as they used to be now. You know, I think if a National League side beats a Div 2 side, I don't think it's a shock. I don't think so, and I think the same goes for them. It's a shock. But, you know, I think the game's going to be tough. We've done all of our work. We've watched them. We've sort of got the reports. We know what's what. You know, some of their players are familiar to us anyway. You know, I think that we will know everything that we need to know about them. I'm sure it'll be the same there, because it's a great opportunity for either club. And like all games, this is going to be a really, really tough game. I think the Cheshunt game turned out 4-1, but I think it was still a tough game. I think the Hitchin game was an even tougher game, and this may be an even tougher game. But before we do anything, we've got to say one thing. Let's make sure we play well. If we play well and they play outstandingly well and beat us, we can look back and go, oh, you know what, we've played well in this game, but we've got to play well to give ourselves a chance of winning. So that's what we're looking to do.